Welcome to Secrets and Historical Facts, the channel where we uncover the hidden stories and fascinating mysteries of history. From forgotten civilizations to bizarre events. About some of the world's deadliest maritime disasters. The sinking of the Wilhelm Gustloff, 1945. On January 30, 1945, the German military transport ship Wilhelm Gustloff was torpedoed by the Soviet submarine S-13 in the Baltic Sea. At the time, the ship was carrying around 10,000 passengers, primarily German civilians and military personnel escaping the Red Army's advance. Tragically, the sinking resulted in the deaths of approximately 9,000 people, making it the worst maritime disaster in history in terms of loss of life. The Doña Paz ferry disaster, 1987. On December 20, 1987, the Philippine passenger ferry Doña Paz collided with the oil tanker MT Vector, which was carrying over 8,000 barrels of gasoline. The collision caused a massive fire, engulfing both vessels. With more than 4,300 lives lost, it stands as the deadliest peacetime maritime disaster. Overcrowding and a shortage of life jackets significantly contributed to the high death toll. The SS Kangia Explosion, 1948. The Chinese passenger steamer SS Kangia exploded near Shanghai on December 3, 1948, likely due to a mine left from previous conflicts. The vessel was overloaded with refugees fleeing the Chinese Civil War, and the explosion led to the deaths of approximately 2,750 to 3,920 passengers. This disaster highlighted the dangers of unexploded mines and the risks of overcrowding. The RMS Lucitania, 1915. The British ocean liner RMS Lucitania was sunk by a German U-boat on May 7, 1915, during World War I. The attack resulted in the deaths of 1,198 people and shocked the world, as many of the passengers were civilians. The sinking of the Lusitania had a significant political impact, contributing to the United States' entry into World War I. The Sultana disaster, 1865. Sultana, 1865. The steamboat Sultana, carrying around 2,400 passengers, many of whom were recently released Union soldiers, exploded on the Mississippi River near Memphis on April 27, 1865. Over 1,800 people lost their lives due to the boiler explosion. This remains one of the worst maritime disasters in U.S. history and was a tragic event just after the end of the American Civil War. The Lula, 2002. The Senegalese ferry Lula capsized off the coast of the Gambia on September 26, 2002, due to overloading and bad weather. With around 1,863 deaths, it is one of the deadliest peacetime maritime disasters in recent history. The ship was carrying far more passengers than its capacity allowed, leading to a tragic and avoidable loss of life. The Estonia ferry disaster, 1994. On September 28, 1994, the passenger ferry MS Estonia sank in the Baltic Sea during a storm. The ship was en route from Estonia to Sweden and encountered structural issues that caused it to capsize. Out of the nearly 1,000 passengers on board, only 137 survived. This tragedy led to improvements in ferry design and safety protocols for passenger vessels in Europe. The Mont Blanc explosion, 1917. Although not technically a sinking, the explosion of the French cargo ship Mont Blanc in Halifax, Nova Scotia, on December 6, 1917, remains one of the deadliest maritime-related disasters. Loaded with explosives for World War I, the Mont Blanc collided with another vessel, causing an explosion that devastated the city of Halifax and killed approximately 2,000 people. Titanic, 1912. The sinking of the RMS Titanic on April 15, 1912, is one of the most infamous maritime disasters. Striking an iceberg on her maiden voyage from Southampton to New York, the Titanic sank in under 3 hours. The tragedy resulted in the deaths of over 1,500 people due to a lack of lifeboats, insufficient safety measures, and freezing waters. This disaster led to significant changes in maritime safety regulations, including the requirement for lifeboats for all passengers. Maritime disasters throughout history highlight the diverse dangers at sea,